Hello, doctors and friends. We are from SGDB2 and we are going to present our student project entitled Particulate Matter. This is our team member. Let me introduce myself. My name is Zafira Dewi with last three digit of student number is 122 and I will explain about the chapter 1 background, problem formulation, objective, and benefit. Next, the first one is the background. So, particulate matter is a term referring to a complex mixture of small solid and liquid particles suspended in the air and classified by their size and origin. The most common categories are PM10 and PM2.5, where PM10 is an inhalable particle that has less than 10 micrometer in diameter, whereas PM2.5 a particle that is smaller than 2.5 micrometers. These particles originate from a variety of sources, including natural sources such as dust storm and volcanic activity, and anthropogenic sources such as vehicle emission, industrial activity, and the combustion of fossil fuels. Exposure to the fine particulate matter has been linked to a variety of health problems like respiratory and cardiovascular system. The inhalation of PM can trigger or worsen conditions such as asthma, COPD, and lung cancer. Additionally, fine particulate matter can enter the bloodstream and leading to a systemic inflammation, oxidative stress, and many more problems. The regulatory framework, such as those issued by U.S. Environmental Protection Agency and the WHO, have set air quality standards aimed at controlling PM emission. So, given the foregoing context and urgency, it is critical to have a deeper understanding of particulate matter. Therefore, further research on this subject is required to advance our knowledge of particulate matter and our ability to manage it, as well as to have a more inclusive conversation and conclusion on this subject. Next is about the problem formulation. So from the background, we have four problem formulation, which first is what are the classification and sources of particulate matter. Second, what are the health impact of particulate matter. Third, how is the mechanism of particulate matter impact on health. And fourth, what are the regulation and control of particulate matter. And for the objective, the first one is to know the classification and sources of particulate matter. Second one is to know the health impact of particulate matter. Third, to know the mechanism of particulate matter impact on health. And fourth, to know the regulation and control of particulate matter. Next is about the benefit. So the benefit of this paper is to get a better understanding of the particulate matter classification and sources, health impact of particulate matter and its mechanism, and regulation on control of the particulate matter. Maybe that's all from me. The next will be presented by my friend. Thank you.
My name is Dewa Naraswari Mesi, which the last digit of my student number is 074. I will explain about the classification of particulate matter. So there's two types of particulate matters. The first is PM10. It has diameters about 10 micrometers or less. The health effects can be inhaled, causing respiratory irritation, asthma, and bronchial infections. The composition of PM10 includes dirt, pollen, and mold nutrients. The impact affects the bronchioles, cancer particularly for children, the elderly, and vulnerable population. The second one is PM2.5. It has diameter about 2.5 micrometers or smaller. The health effects can bypass nasal cavity and throat, reaching the lungs and potentially entering the bloodstream. The sources of PM2.5 are vehicle exhaust, tire wear, and industrial processes. The impact associated with serious health conditions such as cardiovascular diseases, particularly in areas like Cape Town.
Hello, my name is Margaretha Jesslyn with my last sheet number is 248, and now I will explain to you the natural resources of particulate matter. So there are three natural resources that we can find. The first one is dust storm, generate substantial amount of mineral dust, and this particle can travel fast distance, exacerbating respiratory issues and cardiovascular disease due to their ability to penetrate the lung. and the compositions are mineral. And then we have volcanic eruption generate sulfate aerosol, and this aerosol can lead to respiratory issues and aggravate pre-existing lung disease. And volcanic ash, consisting of fine glass-like particles, further complicate health risks by causing mechanical irritation in the respiratory system. And last is wildfire. Frequency and intensity of wildfire are rising due to climate change and leading to prolonged smoke exposure event and have a far-reaching impact on air quality. Thank you.
Continue the presentations. My name is Jovita with my three last digit of my student number 117. I will explain about anthropogenic source of particulate matter. Anthropogenic particulate matter or PM is produced through various human activities such as the burning of fuel in the residential areas, transportations and industrial process. The first thing is the fossil fuel burning. There's three main sources, which is facial emissions, diesel engine, and industrial activities. Vehicle emissions produce fine particulate matters. Diesel engines produce black carbon, and industrial activities produce primary and secondary particles such as sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide. And then the second important anthropogenic source is agricultural activities. There is from burning and other biological mass waste, which is produce ammonia. There is ammonia. There is the burning produce some release some ammonium sulfate and ammonium nitrate.
My name is Thalia with the last three digits of my ID number 211. Now I'm going to explain about the vulnerable populations. It is said that children have a higher level of vulnerability compared to adults to particulate matter exposure. One of the underlying reasons is the surface area of the lungs and the ratio of respiratory rate per body weight that is greater than that of adults. It was also stated that the clearance rate of children's lungs is lower, allowing the incoming air to stay in the lungs longer. In addition, the child's immune system is not fully perfect, causing an increased risk of respiratory diseases. And in addition to children, the effects of PM exposure on the elderly were also found. Exposure to PM is associated with decreased cognitive function in the elderly. In a study, they suspected that this reason is related to extracellular vesicles. When a PM enters a person's body, they go through different pathways, such as PM10, which goes to the upper respiratory tract, PM2.5, which collects in the lung, then goes to the olfactory cortex and brain, and UFPM, which can enter the cerebral cortex through the olfactory nerve. These pathways shows that the brain is actually quite vulnerable to the exposure of PM. Another function that is affected by PM is the cardiovascular system, because long-term exposure to air pollution increases the risk of getting some diseases such as ischemia, thrombosis, and stroke in the elderly, especially in women. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Caitlin and my last three-digit number is 138. I'm going to present about the short and long health term effects caused by particulate matters. First, the short term, it could cause respiratory irritation, asthma exacerbation, and eye irritation. Fine particulate matters cause airway inflammation leading to coughing, shortness of breath, and chest discomfort. The high levels of NO2 and O3 could also worsen the asthma symptoms, especially in children and elderly. Meanwhile, air pollutants like sulfur dioxide and volatile organic compounds cause redness, tearing, and burning sensations in urban areas. Next, we have the long-term health effect. It could cause cardiovascular diseases, chronic respiratory conditions, and cancer risk. Long-term exposure to fine particulate matter contributes to systemic inflammation, leading to atherosclerosis and increasing the risk of heart attacks and strokes. The prolonged exposure could, like NO2 and ozone, also linked to chronic obstructive pulmonary disease or COPD and chronic bronchitis, causing permanent lung damage and reduced lung function. Carcinogenic pollutants, for example benzene and formaldehyde, from vehicle emissions and industrial sources, could also raise the risk of lung cancer even in non-smokers. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, before I continue, let me introduce myself. My name is Dantia Widarta. With my last three digit number is 147. So I'll be explaining about the mechanism of inhalation and deposition of particulate matter. So, in inhalation, particles can travel through the nasal passages, such as pharynx, larynx, before reaching the trachea and bronchi. The aerodynamic diameter of PM 2.5 allows these particles to bypass the body's natural defense mechanisms and deposits in the lower respiratory tract, leading to various health implications. Uh, and for depositions, it can be categorized by its sizes. For particles above 10 micrometers, it will be filtered in the nasal passages or in the upper airways. And for the particles smaller than 2.5 micrometers, it can reach the alveolar region bypassing the natural defenses. These deposition mechanisms are critical in understanding the health effects of PM exposure, as different regions of the respiratory tract are associated with distinct pathological outcomes. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Gede Basudewa with last three digits of my student number is 139. So in this section, I will explain you about the cellular damage and inflammation caused by particulate matter on our body cells. So after the particulate matter get into our body through inhalation or digestion or other pathways, they can cause a cellular damage because particulate matter can have a direct interaction with our body cells, and oftenly they can produce an oxidative stress. Many oxidative stress can disrupt our cell function. One of them are cellular signaling. Other than that, specifically, particulate matter can cause an endoplasmic reticulum stress on our body cells. On the other side, our body will alter an inflammatory response, starting with the activation of epithelial cells and the release of pro inflammatory cytokines such as IL 6, TNF alpha, IL 1 beta, and continue with the recruitment of immune cells in response to release cytokines, leading to chronic inflammation. And chronic inflammation caused by long-term exposure of particulate matter can stimulate a systemic inflammatory response that linked to increased systemic disease such as cardiovascular disease, stroke, and many other systemic conditions. That is all from me. Thank you.
Hello all, let me introduce myself. My name is Calista Amore Manurung with the last three digit number 208. Now I will explain about the systemic effect of particulate matter in our body. Ultrafine particles, or UFPs, are particles smaller than 0.1 microns, capable of penetrating deep into the lungs and crossing the air-blood barrier to enter the bloodstream. Once in the bloodstream, UFP can travel to various organs such as the brain, liver, and heart, potentially causing systemic inflammation and oxidative stress. Due to the small size and chemical composition, UFP can evade the body natural defenses, persist longer in the body, and contribute to chronic conditions. UFP are associated with an increased risk of cardiovascular disease like atherosclerosis and hypertension. UFP can bypass the blood-brain barrier, leading to neuroinflammation, which is linked to the acceleration of cognitive decline and neurodegenerative disorder. That's all from me. Thank you.
My name Pande Nyoman Pratistha, three last digit of my student number 201. Now I would like to present about regulation and control of particular matter by international standard. International standard and regulation have been established by WHO and EPA. This regulation focus on setting limit for PM concentration in the air, specific target PM10 and PM2.5, which represent particle with the diameter of 10 micrometer and 2.5 micrometer. In many countries, PM regulation are incorporated into borderline air quality management strategy. For example, the WHO air quality guideline recommended limiting PM 2.5 concentration to 10 microgram per meter cubic annually and to 25 microgram per meter cubic for short-term exposure. Similarly, the EPA enforced limit of 12 microgram per meter cubic annual for PM 2.5 in the United States. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Grace Valerie with the last three digits to the number 143, and I'll be presenting about the national policies in Indonesia. The average for PM2.5 concentration in 11 big cities in Indonesia ranges from 11.88 until 140 micrograms per cubic meter. On the other hand, the average for PM10 concentration ranges from 7.1 until 192.1 micrograms per cubic meter. To act on this, the Indonesian government executed regulations called Euro 4 in moderation. Euro 4 is a collection of emission standards introduced by the European Union in 2005 in an attempt to reduce the vehicle environmental impact. This regulation was introduced officially in Indonesia in 2017. A year later, in September 2018, all new gasoline vehicles must obey these new regulations, and 4 years later, in April 2022, diesel vehicles are required to comply as well. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hello, doctors and friends. My name is Jovita Theodora Liu with last 30 digits 114. Now I will explain to you about the technological and environmental solutions. There are two types of the solutions. The first one is technological solutions. The first one is advanced filtration system. For example, high efficiency particulate air, HEPA filters, and electrostatics precipitators. These technologies are commonly employed in industrial settings, power plants, and even household air purifiers to mitigate the amount of particulate matter released into the atmosphere. The second one is vehicle emission controls. Technological improvement in vehicle emission controls, such as catalytic converters, diesel particulate filters, and the development of electric and hybrid vehicles. The third one is industrial emission controls. In some industries like cement manufacturing, metal production, and waste incineration, particulate matter emissions are a byproduct of the combustion and material handling process. To address this, technologies like backhouse filters, cyclones, and scrubbers are used to tap and to remove particulates before they are released into the air. The second one is the environmental solutions. The first one is urban planning and green infrastructure. Urban planners are increasingly incorporating green spaces and tree-lined streets to mitigate air pollution, enhance public health, and create more sustainable cities. And the second one is promotion of sustainable transportation. Governments and organizations are investing in the expansion of public transit system, constructing bike lanes, and promoting carpooling to reduce the number of vehicles on the road and the amount of particulate matter they emit. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Gwyneth Oden with student number 110, and now I'm going to present about the future challenges. To manage PM emissions effectively, policies must differentiate between various PM types and also their health impacts. Current regulations oversimplify PM issues, but more nuanced systemic solutions are needed. Stricter vehicle and also industrial regulations alongside advances in infiltration technology and renewable energy are crucial. International cooperation is also essential to tackle cross-border pollution. Next is for the conclusion. PM impacts health, with PM10 affecting the upper respiratory system and PM2.5 penetrating deeper into the lungs and the bloodstream, raising risk of respiratory and cardiovascular diseases. PM2.5 comes from industrial processes, vehicle emissions, and natural events. PM10 causes respiratory irritation, while PM2.5 is linked to asthma, COPD, cardiovascular diseases, and also cancer. Children and elderly are particularly vulnerable. Next, in Indonesia, PM level often exceed global standards. The government's Euro 4 regulations aim to address this by mandating low sulfur fuels and also cleaner technologies. Globally, efforts to reduce PM include advanced filtration systems, emission controls, and also vehicle regulations, urban planning, and promoting sustainable transportation. For recommendation, addressing particulate matter pollution needs policy reforms and healthcare involvement. PM2.5, which penetrates deeper, requires stricter emission regulations. Cleaner fuels, electric vehicles, and also green infrastructure can reduce PM levels. International cooperation is crucial for tackling cross-border pollution. Healthcare should raise awareness, monitor at-risk populations, prepare for increased patient loads, and also improve indoor air quality with HEPA filters. These measures will help reduce PM-related health impacts and protect public health. And that's it from us. Thank you for listening to our presentation and have a great day.